Have you ever wondered why?
When?
How much?
What if?
Well, you're in luck, because you're listening to the Hypotheticast.
3 best buds.
On a mission.
To ask all the questions?
And get all the answers.
Blazing, and I do think I'm amazing. You got the dignity to feel a little about yourself. I don't care what your preacher says. I got my own vicious ways. Only got one command and it goes, I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
I'm ready.
Mike.
That's you. Welcome to the Hypotheticast.
Hello, friends. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, my name's David.
My name is Emily.
Mike.
So what are we doing?
What is our theme today? Is that what you mean, Emily?
Sure.
Okay.
That's how you can answer that.
Our theme today is games.
So, like board games?
Sure.
What about video games?
Maybe.
What about games that one plays with someone else's heart?
Definitely.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Okay, great. I'm on board.
Yard games?
Yes, absolutely. The illegal kind.
Cool.
Did you guys play board games with your families? Was that something that your families
yes.
cared about? Like family game night?
We had like 3 games that we would play.
Okay.
Kool-Aid trivia, which
What?
was not a trivia about Kool-Aid
Damn
itself, but was Kool-Aid or trivia game that we got from using Kool-Aid points. Perhaps you remember Kool-Aid points.
No.
My mom was all about the points that you'd collect from various cereals or beverages. And so we cashed in those sweet points to get a Kool-Aid trivia game, which was just a bunch of like 80s questions. And then
sure.
Kool-Aid Man would like break through a wall and you won.
He
or
would be
something.
there.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
would come if you won enough times.
That's pretty cool.
And then we played a game called Outdoor Life, which was outdoors trivia, which was just trivia about like hunting and stuff. I don't know. And then the one that
These games sound not good.
Yeah, they weren't. But the best one / worst one was the Ungame. Do you guys know the Ungame?
No.
No.
Oh, yeah. So it's
What?
the Ungame. I think it was made by a quasi-religious institution. It's designed to help you have discussions. But
I
they're
know
like,
this game.
it's not, say, like Cards Against Humanity or just like, let's just take a weird prompt and be weird. It was like questions like, what's a time you felt patience?
It's just prompts. It's just questions for families
and I think
to
there
talk
was
to each
a
other.
board, like, kind of just like to make it seem like a game, but it was mostly just like, it was so silly. But I think other people might know the Ungame. Shout out if you know the Ungame.
Ungame.
Oof.
Woof.
Emily's
Yeah.
disturbed by
3
the
of those
Ungame.
games are like
Sounds-
barely games.
I
Like, that's
know.
what's weird.
We had a
about it.
weird
It's-
game closet.
It's just questions closet. That's what you had.
Yeah.
I don't think either of my parents are big board game people. So we didn't play a lot. I mean, we had some and we sometimes would and sometimes still do. I think the age difference between me and my youngest sister meant that getting something that everybody could participate in and enjoy was tough.
Yeah.
I remember always being really fascinated by the games, the board games that were really popular in the 80s that had props, like very prop heavy games.
Yeah.
I always wanted those and never got them. Although I think I eventually got that game, the rings on my fingers or
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that
it's like a
one.
matching game basically.
Right, but you
and
get actual
these
rings
like
to
plastic
wear.
rings with
Yeah.
different kinds of gems on them. I mean, they were like stickers that had pictures of gems. But
Did you ever have like Dream Date or play Dream Date with friends or anything?
Oh
like that?
my gosh.
Or Shopping Mall or whatever that one was. Mall
Dream
Madness, Mall
Phone.
Madness. Yeah, Dream Phone.
Dream Phone. One of my friends had that. Yeah, and like I had a lot of friends who had all of these prop games,
Right.
but Dream Phone was great. I specifically remember because the voices were it was like such bad early technology that you could like barely understand what they were saying, and the concept that like
Brad?
everybody would hear the initial part of the conversation, like it would be, "Hi, it's Brad. I have something to tell you."
Oh, and then
it would
be
get
secret.
quiet and only you could hear it, and he'd be like, he likes most sports but not baseball. And so then you'd like look at all the cards.
He would start speaking in third person about himself.
No, he's calling to tell you about the guy who likes you.
A different person.
I think so. Yeah.
Who's this person?
And
Like,
maybe it is. I think that was
What?
another thing is that like you'd get a call from one of the guys that was on the card to like tell you something.
Weird.
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that actually makes sense because that's a game and it's not just you're talking to imaginary people on the phone.
No, it's
which
not
is
just
what I always
imaginary
thought it
boyfriend
was.
game.
Yeah.
well, I sent you that horror short. Like,
Yes,
that's based on it.
That
like,
is kind of.
It's called Your Date Is Here, but like the phone that quietly talks to just you is a pretty good premise for
For a horror movie. Yeah, it is.
So check that out.
Good memories, David. Did you and your fam play some games?
Yes, absolutely. We played, and I think we were sort of the on-brand game family. Like, whereas neither of you really were the picture on the box of an American family playing board games.
We were.
I guess with the ungame, that's pretty family.
We got 4 of us. My sister,
and that's pretty classic.
So,
You got a boy and a girl and 2 parents, and they're all white. Congrats.
Yeah, we were all white. Remains to this day.
Still. Yeah. But we were like family game night commercial. Like we played Clue, we played Monopoly, we played like Scrabble. And I think Clue was like the first one I really remember playing as a family at the cabin and being like, how did they know? Like I remember being really impressed with how my mom was able to deduce things because I thought I was just using the shotgun approach.
It was just a mystery.
I would just go to every room and be like, was it this person?
Use the shotgun.
Man. I was wrong. And I like wrote some things down, but not enough. And my mom was like using deductive reasoning and like eliminating possibilities based on like the triangulation that she was doing, and I was just like, oh geez.
Your mom's basically a spy.
So yes, we played a lot of them. They were all kind of boring, but we did it. Our first segment today is called Would You Rather. It's a game we made up where we have to choose between 2 deceptively simple options. Our first question comes from Jason Sididate. Would you rather play sports with a professional video gamer or play video games with a professional sport player? Which also is my favorite thing to call somebody that plays sports.
Professional
you
sport
must
player.
be a professional sport player.
Play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way rather. I just don't like playing sports.
That's fair.
I mean, I like physical activities, but sports stress me out. So I'd play a video game, but not a sports video game. We'd play Frogger or something.
It would be kind of weird to play a sports video game with a person that was like in the sports video game. Be like, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, like come hang out with me.
Oh, I'd play Shaq Fu with Shaq.
Yeah. Do you think he's played it?
Oh, of course.
He better
He's in
have.
it.
Yeah, but who knows?
They had to like scan him in to do it. Scan his body to put him in the Shaq Fu.
This one is really tough for me because I am bad at sports and video games. I don't have a lot of experience playing either. So I'm more thinking about the company.
Right. Well,
And that's
which person
tough
would you rather hang
too
out
because,
with?
I initially think back to my younger years and jocks being not my favorite all the time. But actually that's not always true. My senior year, my boyfriend was a hockey player and a football player.
A sport
and he was
player.
a really nice guy. And while I feel like professional video gamers are probably like of the nerdy variety that I might have more other things to talk to them about, I
maybe
feel like also there's something a bad taste in my mouth when I think of professional video gamers, just because I think of like white nerd boy culture on the internet, which is incredibly toxic.
Right.
So I think if it was just, I knew it was just going to be a totally random person from either of those professions, I would probably go with playing video games with a professional sports player.
Nice.
And, it would be low stakes and hopefully they'd be nice.
Yeah, well, I think either way, I thought about this too when I read the question. It's like either way, there's like I don't know, it's probably mean to even say a percentage, but there's a likelihood that you're going to be hanging out with someone toxic in some way.
Yes.
And it's a question of like which kind.
Yes. And here's a weird thing that I think.
Oh, no.
I feel like the types of toxicity. So if it's a toxic professional video game player, they're probably going to be like, ugh, you're a girl. Let me tell you all the things I know. And I'm not really interested in any of the things you know. So even if you try to talk about something, I'm going to correct you and all that noise. A toxic jock.
Joxic.
I feel like is most likely, if we're playing video games together, just going to be like, oh, I'm not going to talk to that girl because she doesn't seem like someone who will have sex with me. And I don't know, just like, I think I just like don't look the type of someone that they would be able to be icky with, or that they would be interested in that.
You want to get icky.
Oh man, that
Like,
Will
I'm
Smith song
not-
"Getting Icky" with it was so good.
Okay, that was a really bad phrase. I wish I had done it.
No, it's
But you know, like,
accurate.
I'm not the kind of girl that like
Yeah.
goes to like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm digging myself into a hole here. But I feel like if they were a bad person, it's more likely that our experience would just be like not talking much while playing a video game.
Yeah, I see what you
Sure.
mean. One of them will be more intrusively annoying, while the other one will just be like, "Well, you're kind of like not my type."
I feel like it's a higher likelihood that a professional video gamer would be interested in like trying to impress me
Get
and
sure.
and get icky. And so I'd have to like deal with that. I'd have to like combat it. I feel like a professional sports player would be like, that girl's short and pale.
Again, both of these are like the type of this person. It just feels important to be like, I know that not all.
No, I know.
and also
We are
there's
very
nothing
much
in the-
playing on stereotypes.
Nothing
right
in
now.
the prompt that says they're even male. Like,
That's
this
true.
could be women.
But almost all of professional
That's a really good
video game
point.
players are.
But there are women
yeah,
that do
yeah,
that. So if
absolutely,
you get
yeah.
to pick,
If I
you
get to
can
pick gender, I would go the opposite.
You'd pick a
If
female
I get
sport.
I would pick
Female sport.
playing a sport with a professional female video gamer.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's male or if it's just random, meaning
Right.
likely male,
I think that's more what the idea is.
I
Like,
would go
who
with
knows
the
what it's gonna be.
Sports girls, and I never really connected very well.
No?
Mainly because I would like be on their teams, and they would be like, "You are trash. Why are we wasting?
Wow.
Why are you allowed here?" Except for the one time at a basketball tournament in like 7th grade when I was the only one with the confidence to go ask the name of the cute boy at the hotel pool.
Yeah.
And then I was so popular for
I
like,
like that it had
God.
nothing
2
to
days.
do with sports. I
Oh,
thought you
no,
were going
I
to talk
was-
about I made a half court shot during the final
no, I
buzzer.
was essentially a mascot throughout the entire thing. I was awful.
Hey, that's the way to be.
But at least you got the name of the cute boy,
There's some things money can't buy.
and his name was Tanner.
Cool boy. I would pick playing sports with a professional video game player because I really like most sports. I think they're fun games that you play with your body. And
Yes, sports, yeah.
sports are games you play with your body, like unlike other games. But I don't like the idea, like when I think about going to the park to play basketball, I'm like, no, I'm going to be the worst one there. Like, I'm not going to be able to join a pickup game and enjoy myself because I'm just going to be getting destroyed by these people that are actually in shape and actually know what they're doing. But if I was playing with someone else that wanted to play the thing but wasn't very good at it, I feel like the playing field would be even. They could have a nice time, and we could probably talk about video games while we were playing.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
cheating.
I get that.
Yeah.
Talking to
But
someone.
mostly I just like playing sports, but I always feel like the people that are into sports are more into them than I am. And so I kind of like the dumpy one that can't really contribute.
Yeah.
This next question comes from Gardner Brennison. Would you rather have aces drop out of your sleeves whenever you lie, or make all major life decisions based on a game of Jenga, where if the tower falls, the situation gets bad?
Oh my God.
So I'm picturing like every major life decision, you have to pull out a Jenga block. So you can
Yeah,
make
I
a
think
lot
so,
of
yeah.
decisions initially, but then
Right.
like eventually you get to the point where you're like, should I buy this house? And then it like if
And you
it
pull one
crashes,
out.
then
And
the
if it
hou-
crashes, then like, no.
no, then the house like crashes all around you.
Right, after you buy it though, because it got bad. Yeah. Oh man.
I'm definitely going to go with the aces falling out of my sleeves.
Yeah.
Mainly because I feel like I don't lie a lot. When I do, I'm actually more likely to lie to just like some stranger just to like get out of having to talk to them about something. You know, just like when I'm in a clothing store and someone's like, "What are you looking for today?" And I am looking for something specific, but I'm like, "Oh, just browsing. Please don't
Right.
talk to me."
Right.
And then aces would fall out of my sleeve and they would be like, "Oh, you dropped something." And then we'd like move on with our lives.
How many
They're
do
not
you-
going to be like,
do you
"That
think?"
means you're lying."
Aha, the ace
God,
dropper.
that would be amazing.
Like
though.
it would just
How
obviously.
many of them are in your sleeves? What are we picturing here? This is important. Is it like 4? Is it like 30?
It depends on the size of the
Yes.
lie.
Okay,
So
cool.
the severity
Okay.
of the lie.
A
Yeah.
little lie like that one, probably just a couple.
Yeah.
But if it was like a big lie, like you were like cheating and something, like I bet aces would come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Your mouth is the body's
Well, the
sleeve.
question is, if you have a sleeveless shirt on, where would they come out of?
Your-
Straight out of
Out of the
the
shoulder,
armhole.
the shoulder part.
Yeah, just the shoulder part or like the bottom.
I feel like we should stick to what it says, which is sleeves.
Sleeves. So no matter what, if you're naked, you can lie all you want.
Yes.
you have no sleeves.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And that's also true
Or
about
they'd
reality.
just be like falling out of like the sleeves of one of your shirts in your closet, but no one sees because you're naked.
No one sees.
Oh man. And then at the end of that movie, somebody opens your closet and just aces come out and they're like, I've been being lied to this whole time by this naked guy.
Yeah.
What a good movie.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, Philip
Matthew
Seymour
McConaughey. Oh, okay.
You
Two
went a
very
different
different casting choices.
Wait, which one did you say?
I said Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. I think that one has less of a negative effect on your life. It's probably the more practical choice.
Plus, like free aces, you know?
Free aces.
At worst, like someone just like realizes you're telling a lie.
Yeah.
But with the Jenga one, like even
Right.
though it doesn't happen as much, like a major life choice would be forever ruined.
That's terrifying.
Like,
Yeah.
Jenga's a stressful game too, no matter what.
I'm tempted by the Jenga though. I see it's like power. I know it could go bad, but that means that I would have to make a lot of major life decisions that went well.
But you have no control over when that happens, so it could
Well, I
happen
kind
to
of
like.
do because I can play Jenga. Like I can pick the block that like is a little rickety if it's a major life decision that honestly I'm not that invested in, and then see if it falls, and then I'll be like, great, well, I'm not doing that. It's risky. I'm tempted by it. I'd probably choose the aces if I'm being
Okay,
honest,
good.
but it's tempting to leave my fate in the hands of some beautiful blocks.
Okay.
This next question comes from Joe Holm. Would you rather have to communicate only in charades or only with drawing? Like Pictionary. I wish you would have said charades, like charades. So both of these, you can't talk.
This is a good question.
Yeah, it's kind of
infuriating.
tricky.
It's a
I know.
tricky one.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
I guess drawing seems to give you more options. Like, I'm not so confident in my drawing skills. When I play Pictionary, it's a lot of stick people doing stick things. But I do
Doing
feel like
stick things.
it would be easier to communicate a wider range of things with pictures than
I
with
know, that's what I'm
pantomime.
struggling
Yeah.
with.
Again, we would not be able to write words. As we know, one of the main
Right.
rules in Pictionary is you can't write
We do.
words or
We do
numbers.
know
We all
this.
know.
Symbols?
Symbols depends on the house rule.
Depends on the rules.
I'm trying to, for some reason, the thing that popped into my head was like taking your car into the shop because something is wrong with it and you don't know what's going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just like drawing explosions or sounds that you're trying to
You could draw an
Or
arrow and hold it.
Trying
the
to act
car.
it out?
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to figure out which of those
Yeah.
would be harder. I think they'd both be awful.
Well, try to act it out to me right now. This will be good audio.
Okay. So
What's wrong with your car, Emily?
Emily is one hand is reaching
One
toward
hand
the
is with a
other.
key.
She's
Okay, so
trying
when
to turn
you
a
try to
key.
start it, it makes a fart face. You made a
Okay.
fart face with your mouth.
All right, so the
Okay, that's
the
good.
key broke off
The key.
in your ignition.
And it made you sad.
It's not start. The engine is not turning over.
One word. Clear it.
Okay.
This is fun. Okay, now
Her head is in her hands. She's crying. She's laughing.
She's laughing. The car makes you laugh. That's not a problem.
This
Emily.
isn't working.
I don't think. Okay,
car-
go home, Emily. Go home. Your car's fine.
out of here. Okay, well, so
Clearly
that
that would
makes
go
me
great.
want to choose drawing.
Now try that method.
Yeah, now draw for
Here's
us.
some paper.
I don't know. I don't know what I would pick.
I'm picturing.
These are
I don't.
both bad.
This
but-
is maybe not in the spirit of the question, but I feel like I could
Uh-oh.
have a pre-prepared series of pictures, like a toilet
Yeah.
or a food, and then I could just show it instead of having to act it out or whatever. Which, I mean, that seems fair, right? Just
Yeah.
if I can have pictures, I can just have
Yeah.
some pictures of things that I may need.
I mean, if I walked into a business and I pointed at my butt and I made a sad face, I think they know that I want to go to the bathroom. Like, it's a little more vulgar, but they get it.
They get it, but if you just handed a picture that like was like question mark bathroom, like that's better
Yeah.
than having to point at your butt.
Is it?
I mean, maybe not
they're
for
like,
you,
"Oh, yes,
David.
The toilets are over here. Thanks for coming into this Home Depot. Which toilet would you like to buy? And then you have to try to explain to them that you can't. Because in this scenario, I think the pictures thing is very important. You cannot act things out. You can't like go,
Yeah.
no, not that.
Yeah,
this. Like
I
your
think
picture is the only thing.
I actually think charades are going to have to be the way because you could connect with a person more like you do when you're actually talking to them. I think that's the key piece is being able to like make eye contact
Yeah.
and have expressions on your face
Right.
that drawing pictures, that is the only thing you have.
That's tough.
So if they're getting something wrong,
Yeah.
you can't like write down no or shake your head.
You just have to crumple up the paper and start drawing another one.
Yeah.
I would have
Which is fine.
my no picture. Like I'd have a
You'd
picture
have a
that
person
represents no.
that's like shaking.
I'm
their
not
head.
on
no.
board with your.
You don't want me to have my
No,
flashcards?
I don't think that's fair.
Why not?
I do love the idea of Mike in a Home Depot trying to use the bathroom and like shuffling through this giant stack of papers looking for
This
his
one.
no face.
Where's the giraffe cage?
No face.
No, I think you're right. Because essentially, you can't learn ASL because that's language and that's not
Right.
allowed by the
It's
question.
not
but
charades.
You're basically on the same level as other people in terms of nonverbal communication. Whereas when you get to draw, none of that. I'm into it. I want charades. And I'm a very physical person.
Mm-hmm.
I like getting physical.
Your body is your
Wonderland.
canvas.
Oh, yeah, canvas. Right. My body is my canvas and my wonderland. All right, Mike, tell us how this is going to work.
So we're going to play a game about games. We'll call it board game pitch because we're going to make a game. Do you like that?
I mean, it's collaboratory. We can call it that.
Who's collaborating?
Us.
Together.
Yeah.
We will
And the
collaborate.
in the
We
English
are
language.
in the collaboratory.
The language.
And we're making these games.
Yeah.
We've written down a bunch of randomly generated words, mostly nouns and adjectives, a few verbs sprinkled in there for fun. And we're going to draw, each of us is going to draw 4. We can only use one of them or we can use all 4 to make up a game. And then we describe that game to the rest of us.
So just to be clear, I'm going to draw a hand of 4 cards, and then I have to use at least one of those.
At least one.
To
make up a game.
To make up a game, as a prompt to make up a game.
Yeah, or you can use all 4,
Or
or
all
you can
of you.
use 2, or you
Great.
could use, what's that other number? 3.
Oh,
Yep.
dang.
Also, we made, just for reference, we made a list of types of games they could be. Board game, card game, role-playing game, slumber party game, yard game, video game, heart game, mind game, and car game.
I really appreciate the fine distinction between heart and mind game.
Very
because
good.
I think those are commonly mistaken for each other, but no.
Not the
No,
same.
they're different. One has
different.
an NSYNC song about it. The other
Doesn't.
probably has a different song. There's a song probably called Mind Games, right?
Oh, 100%.
God,
There's
yeah,
at least
there must
50.
be. Ready?
Ready, Freddie?
Let's draw.
All right. Who's going to pitch their game first?
I'll do it.
Boop, 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 boop,
I'm
boop.
ready.
Spinner lands on David.
I'm going to tell you about my game called Hungry Laser Stories.
Yay!
Which is, I also came up with a new category of game for this game.
Oh.
It is a restaurant game.
Oh, good.
Which is definitely real because I remember when I was with my family, we would go to Pizza Hut and there's this like 10 to 15 minute window where you just don't have anything to do before the pizza gets there. So what are you going to do? You're going to play restaurant games like Hangman or Trivial Pursuit, which is on the table, or like 20 Questions or something that can be like short and happen in a restaurant. Hungry Laser Stories is a game where you use the menu of the restaurant that you're at to tell a story at someone else. And then so that's the laser part of it, is like you aim your laser and you're like, all right, this is a story about a hamburger. And then you have to use that menu item to shoot it at someone. And then they have to tell a story about another item at someone else on the menu. But I will say one of the rules is probably that you have to like alternate menu pages. If there's multiple pages, you can't just be like, well, this is about the salmon and not the cod. You have to be like, all right, well, this one's about a margarita. And then you tell a story about a margarita. And the more characters you incorporate from the other stories, the more points you get, or something like that. It's kind of like a cumulative
Building
thing.
a universe.
Because you get points for like building an ultimate meal that has all of the restaurant items in it. That's Hungry Laser Stories, and you play it when you are literally hungry.
As part of the game, it's a really cool laser that you get to hold, right?
Yeah. Somebody brings a laser that points at like a
Just a
laser,
laser pointer.
And when you're telling a story, you shine it in the person's eyes that has to tell the next story, so they're really annoyed.
Oh,
and
no.
They can't wait for you to be done.
Does it have a special design for the game? So it has like a hungry man's face on the laser?
Sure.
Can it have that?
And you can, when you can look at someone, you can just tell by their expression that they're hungry.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like. He's not eating or something. He just looks so hungry.
Hungry laser man.
Hungry Laser Stories in your mind, because there's no need for a box.
But you need a laser.
You gotta have a laser.
Okay. I made up a game using some words. I only used 2 of the words. It's called Splendid Tussle.
Yes.
And I think,
good.
I'm pretty sure this is a car game.
Game.
It could be adapted for other situations.
Sounds
but
dangerous.
basically, the idea is there are 2 teams. So it could just be played with 2 people, but it could be more. Someone shouts out a topic and you rock, paper, scissors for each side. So it's like a debate, basically. So someone says like universal health care.
Oh no! Oh jeez!
Making it real.
Like,
simple and easy like that.
Or like ketchup is the best condiment, or something like that.
Start with universal health care
and
then ketchup.
Then you rock, paper, scissors for each side, for who's on what side. Okay. And then you have to vigorously yet politely argue about it. Oh. So the splendid part is that it can't get nasty, it can't get mean, or you lose. Okay. So you have to fight like you're like fancy British nobility, like good sir, or just like otherwise compliment each other and be like super nice and polite and very respectful. Yeah. While you try to argue your side of it. And getting mean or snarky is loses you points.
Are the rounds pretty fast, or is it like a half hour kind of thing?
No, I'd say it's like each round is like 5 minutes.
Cool. I love that idea because I actually think it would be a good emotional exercise to like intentionally have a heated debate with somebody while you're trying to be as nice to them as possible, and not just like passive aggressively nice, not like the jokes to be like, oh, I totally see where you're coming from, but that doesn't count. That's shitty. You actually have to be like, you said that and that was such a good point and you look great today and I have something to add to it, which is this.
Exactly.
It's mental gymnastics that are really rewarding because you end up learning how to feel positive in an argument.
But because I didn't get the words rewarding mental gymnastics, it's called Splendid Tussle.
That's a catchy name though.
Thank you.
Splendid Tussle is great.
Like I can picture the box cover, like it's like if it's some royalty, like in a wrestling ring.
Yeah. And it's just like it's really just a deck of cards with like a timer
and topics
on it. Yeah.
Mike's game is called Spooky Lies.
What is Spooky Lies?
So Spooky Lies, it's gonna have a full box with a lot of cool props and stuff. Yeah. But it doesn't need those. It's kind of like One Night Ultimate Werewolf where you can just play it. Like it's basically going to be like 2 truths and a lie, but there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that makes it spooky. It's going to be like a good slumber party game. So basically what happens is everybody takes spooky sheets of paper that come with the game.
How are they spooky?
They're spooky because there's little drops of stuff on them that might be blood or ichor or some sort. Who knows?
Icky drops.
Yeah. So everyone writes down their 2 spooky truths and 1 spooky lie.
Okay.
So here's what happens. You play it at night in the dark in that attic if possible.
Oh, yeah.
And so around 1 single candle that comes with the game.
Like an actual
It's
candle?
a black candle.
Oh, yeah.
And the flame burns black.
I was going to ask. Good. The flame burns black. This can't be cheap.
And you're gathered around it. And then everyone reads the spooky truths and spooky lies, but you do not reveal which is which. What happens is you take the spooky truth and you put it in a spooky box that comes with the game. It has a bunch of skulls on it and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the lie master, which is determined by a spinner that comes with the game, because every good game has a spinner.
Sure.
The lie master has to take this spooky box and take it out into the woods. They have to go out. They have to go outside if there's no woods nearby. An alleyway or any other creepy location.
What about like a basement?
I think it has to be.
Does it have to be outside? Okay, it has to be
because
outside.
Because this game is played over the course of 2 nights. I didn't say that, but so then everyone goes to bed or watches a movie. Whatever.
So the lie master just leaves with the box.
They hide the box, and then you just hang out. Come back together and hang out.
Sure.
The next night you play doesn't have to be.
This is awesome.
Doesn't have to be 2 consecutive nights.
Okay, right. That's hard to schedule.
Yeah, but your next time you can all get together for a game of Spooky Lies. It's got to be a slumber party though. Then everyone gets together, and then the first thing you do is you head out into the woods / other creepy location. Right. And the lie master gives you oblique clues about where it might be. Like you're just kind of trying to find the spooky lie box.
You called it the spooky lie box. You said during the rules that they put the truths into the box.
Yes.
Was that true?
Yes, the truths go into the
What was
lie
that,
box.
a spooky lie?
Truths go in the lie box.
Look, I'm workshopping this. Okay,
Like they put
this
something in there.
concept art is not final.
Okay.
So you head out into the woods,
Right.
and you are given clues with a series of elaborate spooky art cards that the lie master gives one to each of you, and one of you is blindfolded. That's just for
God.
fun. Once
better pay off.
Once you're nearby the lie box, the lie master tells you where it is, because the main part of this is not necessarily just finding the box, but it's about now that you're all in this creepy location / the woods. Then you open the lie box and you read your spooky truths,
Right.
And then all is revealed.
So the lies are meaningless. You write down the lies and nobody talks about them.
You play the game and then people guess, but you don't find out until the next night.
Okay.
But then you're in a new location and you're telling the creepy story again, and you're like, "Oh my god, that
was
actually
real.
happened!" And then the evil spirit comes and eats the loser.
Yep.
That's what happens.
That's how it works. Eats the blindfolded person.
That's going to do really well.
Yeah. I
Do
think
really well.
it's accessible. There's not really a barrier
Easy,
for entry.
yeah.
Barely any components.
Yeah.
Simple,
wait.
quick.
Well,
People like a game
Every
with a lot of components.
There's a blindfold. There's art cards that were introduced right at the end.
Yeah.
There's
a spinner.
a box, a need
spinner.
for the woods.
Yeah,
a lie
Nights,
a lie
a 2-night
box.
game.
a great need for the woods.
I think so.
Let's do another round.
If you can promise to keep a pitch under a minute, we can do another round.
I can.
I don't want to start this time.
Okay, I can go.
Okay, what you got?
All right.
Round 2. Mike again.
Round 2. Board game creator friends.
Collaboratory. It's still
We have a name.
It's called Collaboratory.
So this game is called Squint Farmer.
Nice. I was really hoping Farmer would come up. I really like that one.
And it's played around a table. Does not have a lot of props or things, but there is a deck of cards. And so everyone gets a secret role. Some people are squint producers, and some people are squint harvesters, and some people are the various elements that help the squint farm.
Squint Farm.
One person is always the squint farmer.
Okay.
The squint producers they have to secretly squint at each other during the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
like Mafia.
Yeah. The squint farmer is trying to correctly identify the squint producers while also befriending the squint elements, the elements of producing a squint. That's like sun and water and soil. The ways that squints grow.
Sure.
The way they do this is that they walk around the table while everyone else puts on their blindfolds. There's blindfolds in this game.
How's this short pitch going, Mike?
Short pitch? How is it?
And then the rooster timer. There is a timer. The rooster timer crows, and then the squint farmer has to quickly point at all the people he thinks are squint producers, and then they have to make a noise based on that squint animal.
What?
So the squint animals are creatures created for the game.
Okay.
They're collectible. Like every copy of the game you buy, they're different squint animals. So collect all 500 of them.
I have no idea what you're talking about,
you want
but
to
also
start
your time
over?
is up.
You've been going for 2 minutes and we still don't understand.
No,
your
it's
game.
fine. It's a good
That's
game.
good. That's good.
It
That's all
sounds
we
like a
need.
great game.
I don't need to start. I think everyone understands.
Everybody
it.
gets
Everyone
to
except
accept
for
us,
you guys.
yeah.
Like I think the
Yeah.
listeners will want to donate to my Kickstarter for Squint Farmer.
It's a great idea. I have a central burning question, and that is, what is a squint? But I think that will be answered in the play of Squint Farmer.
Yeah, the art will be very explanatory
Yeah.
of what a squint looks like. Yeah.
All right, my game is called Serious Authority, and it's a game where you get a job in government and you do government work. But actually, like, you change your career and you go to a government job and you call it a game, but you get paid and you just like make legislation and actually make your country better. And it's called Serious Authority. That's my game.
That's great. My game is called Greedy Gander, and it is
I love that.
it's Duck Duck Grey Duck or Duck Duck Goose, whatever. I don't want to
It's
get
Duck,
into
Duck,
it.
Grey Duck.
It's emotional. But instead of that game, one person is the greedy gander, and they just go around and steal hypothetical things from each other. Like they say like, I'm stealing your cheese, and then I'm stealing your house, and I'm stealing your child.
Holy shit.
And that's the game.
And so one person's the greedy gander. They just run around and they just steal a bunch of stuff and then
Yeah.
it's over.
Yeah. We're going to play a game called Would You Blanket. It's a game in which a series of choices is made by one person and the other two people try to seek out the perfect equilibrium. So we usually pick a verb, something. Would you blanket? Would you chase it? Would you eat it? Would you kiss it? Etc.
Yeah.
So today, in a very predictable development, we're going to do Would You Play It?
Gasp.
And the game is called Squint Farmer.
Yay! If you can decipher
And the answer is no.
the inscrutable
Segment
rules.
over. Let's move on.
I would play. Many children around the world are hungry for the game Squint Farmer.
Mike, you are the subject.
Hi.
So I'm going to get this started. One day, you wake up and you realize that there is a tattoo on your forearm.
Okay.
And it says, would you like to play the game? Circle yes or no.
I mean, part of me wants to just circle no, just because I think that's funny.
And just go back to sleep. Like, oh, that's weird. I got a tattoo. No.
But of course I want to play the game.
Yeah.
Circle that yes with a permanent marker.
Oh. Okay, so the tattoo disappears.
Bye.
And everything seems normal.
Does the permanent mark disappear?
The tattoo disappears, and what appears in place of it is circle yes if you are a dingus.
Oh, they got me.
And then there's a yes that says you're a dingus now.
Dang it.
Game over.
That's so weird.
You lose or win depending on whether you want to be a dingus or not. Anyway, after this prank happens, then that tattoo also disappears.
Okay.
And everything seems normal. So you wake up, you go to school. Let's assume hypothetically that you're a teacher and you work in a school.
Sure.
You go to school and nobody is there.
Oh no, where'd they go?
There are tumbleweeds rolling across the hallway. There are papers flying in the wind because the windows are all open. There's a window that's shattered. It looks like something happened to nobody, and you don't see anybody at this abandoned school. And then you see rolling towards you, not ambling like a zombie would, but rolling towards you, the bodies of all of your cohorts.
Oh my God.
All of the teachers that you work with are just are rolling. Some
are
of them
they dead?
Well, they look like zombies every time. So some of them are rolling on their sides like logs, and some of them are somersaulting towards you.
I was going to ask.
But every time they roll and you see their eyes, they're just yellow. And one of them winks. And you're like, oh, that's weird. But the rest of them are just sort of rolling normally. Like normal teachers just rolling down the hallway.
Okay.
And then you hear a little ping and you see the tattoo reappear on your arm. And it says, would you like to play the game? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You circle yes?
Well, I mean, they're still coming.
Yeah, but potentially
no
if
and
you
they'd
say
go
no, it'll
away.
disappear.
Yeah.
I want to know the dynamic of the game.
Okay.
Great.
Maybe
Cool.
I have to like bop them on the head or something.
Yeah, who knows?
A baseball bat with nails sticking out of it appears in your hand.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
fun.
As the rolling teachers approach, you realize that they have like torn off limbs from other bodies that they are like feasting on as they roll.
Oh, dear.
So
A lot
they're getting
going
close
on.
to you, and you realize that you have to fight them so that you can get past them.
Sure.
I don't want to go into detail, but you use the bat with the nails to fight your way through the rolling zombie teachers, many of which you know and are friends with.
They're zombies now, though.
And when you get past them, you hear a sound that sounds like bloop, like level up, like a level up sound.
Fun.
Nice.
So that's like intrinsically, like somehow rewarding, like you get a little endorphins rush from that.
It's like a hug.
You turn the corner and the school nurse is walking very quickly towards you. Not a zombie. In regular human form.
Cool.
But there is a definite urgency and a little bit of fear in their eyes. And they get up to you and grab your arm and say, it's time.
Okay.
And they start walking you back towards the nurse's office. When you get to the nurse's office, there is basically like an operating, what do you call that?
Theater?
Yes, theater.
Yeah,
an operating theater
theater.
set up. There's a tray with lots of tools, shiny, sharp tools set up. You can tell that there are a lot of people sitting and watching.
Nice.
But the lights are so bright that you can't like see who they are or anything. And there are no surgeons or other doctors. It's just the school nurse. And you can tell that the school nurse, like their like sweat is broken out on their forehead.
Oh, geez.
Like they're shaking a little bit and they're like, all right, let's go, and gesture for you to get up onto the chair and be strapped in.
Oh, I have to be operated on?
And then the tattoo appears again and says, do you want to play the game? Yes or no?
Yes, play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you say yes.
Yeah.
So you get in the chair, and the nurse is like, all right, thanks. She turns on some music. It's Shania Twain.
Of course.
Which, but it is...
is it from this moment?
Sure, yeah, from this moment. But the nurse says, like, this isn't Shania Twain. This is Shania Payne.
Okay.
And you're like, I don't know, it sounds like Shania Twain. And she says, no, it's Shania Payne. Shut up, it's for the joke. And you're like, okay. She's very insistent that you do not call it Shania Twain.
Yeah.
So she straps you in, and she gets out a big saw. And she's like, all right, here we go.
Yes.
And just starts sawing off your leg.
Okay.
And you feel everything.
Cool.
You feel like you are getting your leg sawed off. And she looks at you and she's like, do you like it? And the tattoo appears on your arm and says, do you play the game?
Well, my leg's already getting sawed off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just keep might as well.
Great. Okay. You pass out from the pain and shock.
Uh-huh.
You wake up what feels like hours later, and while it's clear that you've lost a lot of blood, you at least have she bandaged it up.
That was nice.
So, you're still alive, I guess. This is a horror game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It has to turn into that, because otherwise Mike will want to play.
It's always been that.
I mean, you have crutches leaning up against the bed or chair, whatever you were being operated on. So you take the crutches.
Mm-hmm.
When you emerge from what you thought was the nurse's office, you see this bright, eerie glow coming from outside. You can see through the windows. And so you make your way to a door that leads out onto the school playground. You see some people standing in the playground area, and so you hobble towards them. It is 4 men wearing suits. They all look vaguely familiar, but you can't quite place it. Okay. They all have an air of great entitlement and authority. They hand you a briefcase.
Oh.
And they say, it's time to make the decision. And you open up the briefcase, and there is a button in it. And the button has a picture of a mushroom cloud on it.
Oh, shit.
Helpfully labeled.
Yeah.
I mean, no words, just the mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
And then the tattoo appears again. Do you want to play
I just
the
have
game?
to decide. That's too big a responsibility. No, I don't want to play the game anymore.
Finally, it took literally
responsibility.
Potentially dropping a nuclear bomb to get you to stop playing the game.
Right.
I'm so proud.
It might not be.
No, he said no.
Okay, so then the suit man is like, you don't want to play? That's fine. But let me sweeten the pot for you. I'm going to tell you what that mushroom cloud means. It's a spinner. You love spinners. It's a spinner.
Is it a button or a spinner?
It's a button, but once you press it, it turns into a spinner.
Okay, like
and then
that.
it will land on one of 3 options.
Okay, I press it now.
No.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, you do your thing.
I love spinners.
I just want to turn into a
so
spinner.
it'll land on one of 3 options. 1, nuke the whole world.
Bad.
2, give your family smallpox.
Also bad.
And 3, you sitting in a field of mushrooms, blazed out of your mind. you get to experience in a game, so it's safe, what it's like to be the perfect high on psilocybin mushrooms.
I still don't want to push.
You don't want to push it? Okay.
I don't think that's.
There's a chance for a payoff, but you don't want to do it.
I could do mushrooms whenever I want. I don't have to do it with the button.
You don't have to do it with the button.
So you're still saying no. You hear this bing behind you.
Uh-oh.
And you turn around, and kind of right by the swings on the playground, these elevator doors appear out of nowhere and open up. And Emma Thompson steps out.
Yes.
She's wearing gleaming silver robes.
As she does.
And she says, Mike, you have one more chance to complete the game. Will you come with me? And she reaches out her hand, and the tattoo reappears. Everything seems pretty lovely about it, but just out of the corner of your eye, you see a snake slither towards her and crawl up her leg and underneath the robes.
Yeah.
Do you play the game?
I mean, I'm curious, so yeah, I'll follow her.
Okay. You take Emma Thompson's snake hand.
Yeah.
Also, her hands are snakes.
Right. So
you didn't say that.
Oh, no.
That's really scary.
So as you grab her hand, it turns into a bunch of snakes. You look up at her face, but bam, she's a bunch of snakes, and she says, "Yeah, it's me, Snake Ma Thompson.
Oh, no.
And you say, well, I didn't recognize you, Snake Ma, under all that makeup. And she brings you to her bubble world where she lives in a little square. It's just her and a bunch of snakes.
In Bubble World, she lives in a square?
It's a bubble dimension or whatever. People, how people talk about that? It's like, it's a pocket dimension. That's more
there you go, pocket dimension.
Bubble World where there's squares.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Good job, David.
She drinks a lot of champagne. It's Bubble World.
That's good.
And she says, to complete the game, you must conquer this one final task. You see 3 creatures. You see a little hamster with hearts for eyes. You see Joan, our cat, my cat Joan, your nephew or niece or whatever she
Joan is my niece.
I feel like aunt.
Yeah. Oh, she's Mike's aunt.
Yeah. I feel like that's a more appropriate relationship for Joan.
You see a hamster with hearts for eyes, a real hamster. You see Joan, and you see a human child.
Okay.
And the wall says, you must strangle 2 out of 3 to complete the game. Do you play the game?
No. We're going to murder an animal.
Okay. You do love all animals.
All right. Snake Ma Thompson leans forward, gives you a big old French kiss, and then says, I'm so sorry, Mike, you lose.
No.
And your punishment is getting a kiss from a bunch of snakes. Next up is a segment we call If I Were You, which is, of course, a little game we like to play where we take on the role of you and we say, hey, if I were you, I'd do this.
Yeah, if I were you, I would open up your smartphone or tablet or computer and go to Google and Google these 3 words. Tom, Willette, watermelon.
Yes.
Tom spelled like Tom, Willette spelled like Willet, and then the word watermelon. And watch the video that comes up. And then if you're like a regular human like David and I, you will watch continuous videos for at least an hour and be both delighted and infuriated in equal measure. But it's impossible to look away. That's what I would do if I were you.
If I were you, I would open your tablet as well, if you have an iPad, that is. If you don't, then you can probably go on your computer, because it's also for computers, and download and play a game called The Room. It's a game about a weird box that you get to unlock by doing a series of puzzles. It's very accessible. The hint system is brilliant because it waits for a while and sees how long you'll poke around. So don't worry, it's not going to make you feel stupid, but it will make you feel very smart. And it's a great combination of a lot of different sort of tactile games all in one thing. And it's only like $4 or $5. You can play it on your iPad.
It's free on Amazon, actually.
Or it's free on Amazon. So if you have Amazon, just get it.
Is it based on the movie?
Yes, it's 100% based on Tom
You're
Wiseau's movie,
tearing me
The Room.
apart.
Nice.
Inside a mystery box.
Let's do more of... What's another line from The Room?
Help, I'm in the room.
Oh, nailed it. Yeah.
What a great room. That's what that other
This room is nice.
that's what that other character says.
Search The Room game and solve some puzzles because it's really rewarding. Wow.
Fun. I will also recommend a game. It is called Muse, and it is a good game for parties, for really a good size of people, like probably not more than 20. There's a number of games now. I like this trend of having a really beautifully designed art card that is a prompt for part of the game. Like there's Dixit and there's Mysterium. In Muse, you have two or more teams, and you give one of these cards to the opposing team, and then that one of those people has to use a prompt from another card. They're the muse, and the other cards say things like whistle a tune or name a actual like location on Earth, and then that card gets shuffled in with a bunch of other art cards, and then that team has to guess which card it was. It may be easier to understand if you actually saw these cards.
Yeah, but I think that sounds intriguing.
It's a fun game that is very accessible, and I think it's a cool idea. And the art is very beautifully designed and fun to look at too.
Yeah.
Muse.
Do all those things that we just said, listeners.
Yeah.
You must.
You must. If you don't, you will stop being able to listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
It'll just sound like white
Sorry,
noise.
that's a new feature.
Yeah. Yeah, iTunes is getting wild.
You can find us on Facebook at Hypotheticast, on Twitter at Hypotheticast. On both of those places, we frequently post Would You Rathers and other hypothetical questions that we like to hear your answers to.
Yeah.
We also have an Instagram, Hypotheticast_IG. For example, I just posted a boomerang to our story of Joan cleaning herself. And that's the kind of content that you'll get if you follow us on Instagram. You could also email us, hypotheticast@gmail.com. Hypotheticast.club is our website. What a surprise.
Yeah.
Find us, talk to us, look at us.
Yeah, we would appreciate any reviews that you care to write. Really, I think you're only allowed one per podcast, but
True.
use yours wisely. Do that on iTunes or any podcast app that will allow you to review. And if they don't allow you to review, then
Write a review of that app.
write a review of the app and say, let me write reviews on your app.
Yeah, or just write a review of that app and say Hypotheticast is a great podcast.
Yeah, that'll work too. It's like when people write product reviews on Amazon that are about the product being shipped to them on time.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Great condition.
It's good to tell people things.
Yep.
Tell them about us. Do it.
We have a big reveal to do right now from last episode.
Eagerly awaited.
Only one of you got the answer correct. From our last episode, I am revealing now which one was the lie. My 3 were that sometimes I eat frozen peas like popcorn. I once licked my sweaty arm to see if I was tasty. And number 3, I once put ice cubes in my pants for fun. The third one is the lie. I have never put ice cubes in my pants for fun.
For business.
I have put it in for business and for science, but never for fun. No, just kidding. I don't think I've ever done that, period. I've put them on other places in my body, never my pants. The only person that guessed correctly was Wee. So congratulations to you. You did it.
Girl.
Thank you to Jaden James and the Hunger for the use of their song Killing It from their album Raw. And thank you to Christian Hagen for his logo that he designed for us. We have buttons for sale still. Here are $2 a piece. If you want one, get at us or take a picture of yourself enjoying the Hypotheticast and send it to us. And thanks for all your questions this week. They were great.
Yeah.
We have one last segment. It is called No Questions Asked.
So nervous.
And it's a game where I ask one question and then you don't get to ask any more. This comes from Michael Crefting. Would you rather be the mouse or the trap?
Trap.
Mouse.
Here
Come
I
here, little mouse.
Get in here. This
Ew.
guy's going to dive into a bathtub on top of you.
No. All right. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. We love you.
I like you. Does anyone even play
No,
Mousetrap?
just play with those weird
Yeah,
things.
just playing with them.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played Mousetrap, but we had it and I played it in quotes quite a bit by just setting it up and making that little man jump into that tub.
Do it. Get in there.
I just wanted him to have fun. You know, he wants to, like, his life is being posed to dive into a tub.
Or he's praying to the heavens.
Yeah, well, then he wants to be baptized. Either way, he's
hands
getting
are
in there.
raised.